Everything's powering up. Hey, we did it. All right, so we are now going live for you guys on both Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So if you guys are watching this, you can go to either platform to be able to watch, which is great. So thank you guys for joining us. Today we're going to go over a couple of topics, some big things that have happened over the course of this week. The first one was F8 happened, which is Facebook's big developer conference. And kind of the big things that came out of that were Messenger integration, that there's now a lot more abilities to be able to integrate with Facebook Messenger, and also augmented reality and what's going to come with that in terms of what they can do with the camera and being able to use that for Instagram stories or a lot of new features that would come directly from those as well. So very exciting stuff. If you haven't watched, you have the ability to watch all the videos from the sessions that happened at F8. To be able to view those, you just go to FBF8, the number 8.com, and then look for the videos tab, and you can be able to watch all the segments and the presentations on what was the best performing or the best presentations there that are interesting to you. But it's very much the newest and the latest things that are happening on Facebook. And that's where you have the ability to go and check it out to make sure that you are ahead of the curve. So I want to talk about a couple of things, updates that happened this week. If you want to stay up to date on the latest, you're going to want to check out our blog, advertisement.com/blog, where you can sign up there to get the latest articles that are coming out the minute that we write them, which is great for you guys. But some of the ones that recently that we paid attention to or that kind of came across our radar was the first one that Facebook has some new ad features. So there was two new things that we saw launched to the Facebook ad platform today, which is now the ability to add or to create multiple ad sets while you're creating your first set of ads. So what this means is you can create multiple variations. So you say you want to target people like Pepsi and Coke and Mountain Dew and Dr. Pepper, and you want to run ads towards those 4 different ones. In the past, you would need to create an ad set, then go back and maybe duplicate it and change it, or you need to go back and create an entirely new ad set. Facebook has now started to launch or roll out with some of our accounts the ability where you can now select add a different variant, and you can add all 4 of those, create your one ad, and it would create 4 different ad sets that can run to the ad. So very exciting. It's a huge feature that saves a lot of time for people that are doing Facebook advertising. They also have the ability to now duplicate ads into multiple ad sets. So if you go in and you select, hey, I've got a new ad, but I already have, say, 10 different ad sets and I want it to go into all of them, instead of going, I want to duplicate the ad one by one, you can now select all the ad sets that you want that ad to go into. So 2 new great features that have recently come out that will ultimately save you more time, which is great. Another thing that we saw is there was a recent article by CNBC, and this goes into the battle of Instagram versus Snapchat. And kind of what's happening there. Instagram has copied a lot of the features of Snapchat, and they were coming out with some of the results. So CNBC had an article, and they said that Facebook has reported that there's about 200 million people now using Snapchat or Instagram stories, whereas Snapchat reported that it has about 161 million. So what that means is in about 8 months of time that Snapchat Stories has been out, it is now overtaken Snapchat, or the Instagram Stories have been out, it's overtaken Snapchat. So, I mean, this is a big deal for advertisers as you're looking, where do I focus and where do I spend my money and where do I get attention. There was also an article by Advertising Age where they went in and were discussing this more, the Instagram versus Snapchat, kind of battle. And they were saying that someone that had done some research had seen that with Instagram, they were paying about a $4 CPM to be able to reach, people on there. And with Snapchat, the same price that they were paying, or the price they were paying, was about $8.50. So the price was almost double with Snapchat over Instagram. So, I mean, that's a big factor. And then when they looked at clicks, they saw that, or they were looking at views, people that viewed all the way to the end of a video. they noticed that on Instagram, about 4.5% would watch it all the way to the end. On Snapchat, it was 3.5%. So, I mean, these are both kind of big blows. This isn't like, solid 100% tried and true data. This was, it came from one person's report on what they found in the system. But I mean, right from the bat, it shows that Facebook definitely seems to have a leg up in terms of being able to reach more people, having a lower cost per click or CPMs, and the fact that people are more open to watching the ads on Instagram than they are on Snapchat. So just wanted to share that information with you guys. And then finally, there was another article by Social Media Examiner this week where they talked about how to split test Facebook video ads. And so when it comes to being able to split test ads, this is something that you want to do because you can be able to find out what works and what doesn't work. And there's a couple different things that you can always split test when it comes to ads. You can do text, you can do visuals, you can do audio, different audio tests that you can do length. And you can do things like format or layout, whether it's a square video or a regular one, or if you have headlines above and below, if you use captions. Those are all different things that you have the ability to do with Facebook or with split testing. So when you go to set up a video, or when you go to split test an ad, there's a couple different ways you can do it. Generally, you're just creating duplicate ads, or you're creating a different variant of each one. You generally want to start with one main ad. That a lot of times we call that our baseline. And then what we do is we create variants of that we're trying to get to test against it. And this is, again, you want to make sure that you have enough budget, that you have enough data to be able to get to a final answer. But to some extent, it's very important to do A/B testing on Facebook because it can help you make sure that you're spending your money in the most optimal ways possible. Another announcement that came out this week, Instagram is launching stickers, or what they call geo stickers. So this is a new feature that comes out that allows you to put stickers onto your images or around your world, that allows you to either pin it or be able to have it show up based on locations. So the upside here is this is something that Snapchat sells to advertisers. So I would imagine at some point this could become an option for Instagram advertisers, as well as just people looking to develop stickers related on locations or places or things that are fun for users to be able to use when they're sharing their photos. That was kind of it. There was a couple of questions that we had that trickled in from last week when we went live, so I wanted to address them right now. If you guys have any more questions as you're watching this, feel free to drop them into the questions bar right there, and I'll answer those as soon as I get done with the ones I have right now. So the first question was, what is an evergreen campaign and how do I create it? So this is something that evergreen is just a term that's used that's an advertising campaign or some sort of content that can run continuously over a long period of time. So this would be something like how to lose 5 pounds in 30 days, right? That could be used, a year ago. It could be used today. It could be used, 10 years from now. And people would probably still find that relevant and want to know what it is. So that's what kind of goes into an evergreen campaign versus if I were to talk about the number one hit on the radio right now. 10 years from now, people would maybe read that and be like, wait, that doesn't make sense because that's not something that's existing right now. So that's what evergreen means. To be able to set them up on Facebook, a lot of times what we do is we'll set them up based on days. So we create custom audiences that'll be based on days or time length, and then we put in the content that we want into those periods of time. So what that means is as people come to your site, they then will begin to pass through these funnels that are days of time based around custom audiences. And so as they go through the first section, they would see a certain piece of content. And then as they move into the second set of days, they would see another piece of content. And what happens is this allows the person, as they're moving through this series of ads, that they will always see the ads in the order that you want them to. It will always look like you have multiple ads coming out to the people. And the really upside here is that your frequency will stay low, and that the relevance score will stay high. If you're showing the same ad to the same person again and again and again, a lot of times that can negatively affect your relevance score. Building an evergreen campaign has the ability to kind of go around that and build something that's valuable towards the users. All right, another question we had is, how do I get refunds? How do I get a refund on Facebook ads? This is something that I've had this question asked to me a lot of times. In my experience and in working with Facebook ads full time for the last 3 years, I have never seen a refund come from Facebook for anything. Now they may do it at some level. You have the ability to go to Facebook Business Resources and always request it. But generally it is, if you spent money on something happening on Facebook, and unless it's an error on their part that you can prove, and most of the time, it's difficult to prove if their system malfunctioned or something didn't go right. But if you can, you might have a case, but most of the time it's going to just be something to where they rarely, if ever, offer refunds for the ads that are placed. So that's just from my experience. If you've found any other ways where you have gotten your ads refunded, definitely let me know or share it in the comments. That'd be good. And then another question that we had was, can I edit live videos after they have aired? So, as of right now, there's nothing that you can do on Facebook where you can go and edit it, but you do have the ability to download the video directly from Facebook, at which point you could then edit it however you want, and be able to show the ads back from there, or to change the live video to be exactly how you wanted it to. But it would be just the video, not with the comments and the hearts and emojis flying across. All right, let's see. A couple more final questions that came through. Do you think users will be receptive to Snapchat ads, or will they just skip over the ads? What I've read is a lot with Snapchat, the younger demos are using it, so it's got a younger audience, and they're just very quick at going through content, and they're not really keen on seeing tons of ads. So, that's a struggle that Snapchat is going to have to overcome. The upside there is, as advertisers are making their ads shorter and shorter and shorter, I think they'll get very creative about how to be able to, build content or build something that's a fun or unique advertising experience that would go directly to the people that they're trying to reach. So that's kind of my thought there. Let's see, we got a couple more. What do you think about augmented reality? I think it's something that is going to continue to grow and be amazing. I think especially now that Facebook, traditionally you have to get the whole headsets and put them on, which is expensive. It looks kind of weird. You can't walk around in public with them. So, there's some cool experiences that you can do, but it's not necessarily accessible to the masses. Now that Facebook is, going after using the phone for augmented reality, similar to what you saw with Pokemon Go, this is something that I think has the ability to take off and really, become exciting, where you can now, use your phone to unlock, to some extent, all sorts of experiences around the planet that people have built. So I would think 10 years from now, we'll probably look back and be like, this is amazing. We use it every day. There's countless applications for what we do. But right now, it's very much on the cusp of what's available. Here's a good question. Why did Facebook remove the view button? This is something that we saw happen this last week. In Ads Manager, there is a button where you can select different ad sets or campaigns up from your whole list and click view, and it actually will shorten it down and show all the results. The view button was removed, and Facebook added a sidebar with results on the right hand side. So we've been tinkering with that. To some extent, I loved the view button because it allowed us to kind of splice and dice with the data very quickly. We sent in a request to Facebook saying, hey, is there any way to bring this back? It was valuable to us. But at this point in time, it looks like they took it away. And it was definitely something that was useful to us as we're managing campaigns, but that's something that is gone. So we'll see what happens with that. And let's see, we got one last one. So Instagram Stories has more daily users than Snapchat. Yeah, they're saying about 40 million more. And that's, right now. So that number is only continuing to rise. What I would think is, Instagram had a strong user base. Snapchat you had to go on there and you had to create your followers all over again. So, a lot of times people were using Instagram or Facebook or YouTube to say, hey, go follow me on Snapchat. And that's how they were able to build these big followers. But there isn't the ability to really search and find a lot of new content on Snapchat unless, you already have that pre-built social following already. So with Instagram, it's been around longer. There's a lot more users. Once they integrated similar features, it caught on. And at least from the people that I've talked that use it, they're like, there's now, I have to go to Snapchat to do one more place, whereas if I go to Instagram, I have more followers there anyway and more people, so more people are going to see it and comment with it. So it's something that is there and I would think could continue. But that's it. That's what we've got for today. It looks like we're kind of out of questions. Thank you guys so much for joining on our first live on YouTube as well as Facebook. We're doing them both at the same time. But I want to thank you guys so much. We'll see you next week on Tuesday at, I think, 10 a.m. is when we go live. So cool. Have a wonderful weekend and see you later.